Good morning. Hello. Welcome to what is today? Today is June 10th. And I don't know, this may be like our sixth episode. I got all these little baby hairs sticking up. Sixth episode of It's Morning Somewhere. Welcome. I'm super excited. Oh, let's make sure everything is tucked in, covered up. What? Goodness gracious. One day, y'all, I'm going to have a full glam squad and everything's going to be pinned and tucked and coiffed to perfection when I go live. But today is not that day. Welcome to, to It's Morning Somewhere. So I don't know where it is, what time it is for you. If you're watching this live, it's more than likely not morning for you, even though it's morning for me here in Hawaii. Got my Hawaii mug, my Starbucks Hawaii mug with coffee all over it because I'm actually, this is my true life mug for the day from Hawaii. So it looks like we've got Honolulu there, maybe the cityscape. And then I'm going to guess that that's maybe Diamond Head. Maybe it doesn't even really look like Diamond Head. Maybe it's just like a random mountain volcano here in Hawaii. If you're watching the replay, welcome to that too. I'd love for you to leave me a comment so that I know that you hopped onto the replay because I can kind of see when people are on live, but I don't really always know when someone's watching the replay. I'm excited about today's It's Morning Somewhere because today we have a little bit of good news to talk about. So the last couple of weeks there has been, there's COVID-19, like the plummeting aviation industry. We have addressed grief. We have addressed last week was also a very important but heavy topic, Black Lives Matter, why we're talking about that in a career site. But today we have, and you can totally go watch the whole playlist if you're curious to know my thoughts on any of those things. But today we are talking about, again, aviation. So we're going to start out with aviation, good and bad. The bad thing is, for the first time since the whole COVID thing began, the only airline currently accepting applications is Breeze Airways. There's only one, and they're actually a pre-launch. So they were planning to start this year, 2020. It's looking like maybe 2021, maybe. We don't really know. I haven't seen any updates. I haven't seen any new information recently. Of course, right now, there's pent up demand in aviation, meaning there's demand that is not being fulfilled, but it's not really because there's no supply. It's more because of the regulations on travel and things like that. So we may see a huge spike in need of air travel that would allow Breeze to find a place in the market sooner. Or we may not. So we're kind of hanging tight on them. And, Mesa has been accepting applications. We've seen Spirit accept applications. We've seen Omni accept applications during this time. And as of right now, though, Breeze Airways is the only one accepting applications. In the description of this video is a link to the Who's Hiring page on the Flight Attendant Career Connection blog website. So that's a great place to kind of keep up with. You can check it daily, check it every now and again, but it will say accepting applications if they're accepting applications, but it's a list of all the airlines. So also, if you want to learn about different airlines, if you are only familiar with Delta, Southwest, American, United, and maybe Alaska, JetBlue, if those are the only airlines you really know about, there's over a dozen more airlines here in the U.S. that will be hiring flight attendants, hopefully sooner rather than later. So that is also that Who's Hiring link is a great resource for you to start to discover those airlines and learn about them. Where are they based? What do they do? What are they all about? So like I said, it's in the description on the Flight Attendant Career Connection website. So that is kind of like I was going to say the badder news, but that's kind of like, it's the first time that we've kind of like not had at least a couple accepting applications, but that's to be expected. So we're not shocked by that news. Now to the good news. So I read an amazing article this morning, I think it was Forbes, with this really handsome picture of Gary Kelly sitting there looking all studly. But anyway, that's actually a total side note. And I'm a little embarrassed that I said that about him, but it was a good picture. Anyways, so about Southwest. So Southwest is in an amazing position. This hair's bothering me. Is that bothering you? that it's sticking up weird, is in an amazing position with money and resources, as well as a business plan that is very slow and steady wins the race, which is allowing them to position themselves for recovery faster than some of the other major airlines. So they're expecting to be back up to full capacity. So back up to operating the same amount of seats that they were selling the same amount of seat miles that they were selling pre-COVID-19. So we saw a huge dip, right? So I think Southwest cut to like 90%. Others were cutting to 90%, 80%. And then of those seats, we were only seeing like 20% of the 90% of the 10. So 10% of the seats were going. And then of those 10%, only like 20% were even filled. So it was like huge cut. But Southwest is thinking that they will be back up to full capacity by the end of this year. The end of this year, 2020. Also, they've had 34 MAX 787 MAX airplanes grounded because the MAX was having an issue, a safety issue that they were basically like recalled. So they had to ground those planes while they worked on it. But Boeing believes that the MAX will be recertified by the FAA by the end of the year, which means Southwest will be back up and operating, rolling along, doing its thing. Plus, it will have some new aircraft around that time as well that will allow them to even grow this year or early next year. Grow. That's amazing. Another thing that I saw that I was really encouraged in the same article and in some other articles that we've seen is I feel like they're finally starting to predict when the other majors will kind of come back up to where they were. And they're looking at like mid 2021 to be back up to operating, kind of recovered from all that we've been going through, excuse me, in aviation and we hadn't heard any numbers. Like we hadn't heard any look at that wind in my hair. We hadn't heard any speculation. We were like, it could be like forever. It could be 10 years. It could be 5 years. It could be 3 years. It could be next week. We don't know. But we're starting to hear some speculation that it could be mid 2021. Now, back up to operating does not mean hiring. All right. So I still think that it will be a while before those major airlines start hiring flight attendants again. I still think we're looking at a good 3 years before we see American United and Delta start to hire flight attendants again. Delta especially, I know, is retiring aircraft. So that means they're going to come back as a younger, stronger, more fuel efficient, more cost effective airline, which is amazing for them as far as situating them in the market. But it also, less airplanes means less staff, which means less pilots, which means less flight attendants, because there's less airplanes to work on them. So they're not going to be coming back growing the same way Southwest is. So I'm curious to see when Southwest will start accepting applications again. I have no idea. I do know that they were overstaffed even before COVID-19. So with the MAX being grounded, they had sort of been ramping up to make sure that they always had flight attendants ready for that. And with the MAX being grounded, which means it grounded their 34 planes as well as stopped the delivery of the planes. I think they're going to get 100 more over the next 4 years, I believe, is what the article said. So that means that they were kind of already overstaffed. So I don't know even when they get up to 100%, that would mean that they would still be kind of overstaffed. But it also depends on how many people retire, how many people take buyouts that are being offered by airlines sort of across the board. So we'll just wait and see. But I'm encouraged because what happens when airlines start to make money and grow is they start to hire flight attendants. Okay. So I'm encouraged by that part of it. So let's see. I'm going to hop over here, see if I have any comments. No comments. If you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. If you're on YouTube, it should pop up into my little screen. And then if it's something you want me to know right away. Now let's move on to, we're going to talk about tools for takeoff. Every week I share with you a tool for takeoff, which means it's just a product. It's a product that I have purposely purposely chosen to share with y'all because I think that it is important, or I like it, or it's helpful. Here's what we're doing today. So this is a clip-on ring light. I'm going to go and show y'all. I took it off. See how my face kind of changed? My lighting changed. So this is what it looks like. Let's turn it off. So this is what it looks like. It has a battery in the back and it clips over my camera. So it clips over the camera. See, it has a hole here. So the camera will be right here and you clip it on. I can probably show you better on my phone. So like this, see? So you can use it on a phone or a laptop. And it is a ring light, which means here's why ring lights are important. When you're doing your video interview, this is why lighting is important. When you're doing your video interview, your lighting can make you look prettier, younger, more vibrant, easier to watch, easier to see, or your lighting can be distracting. It can age you. It can make you look like the crypt keeper. So if you're lit from the back, it can actually like delete you so that you can't even really be seen. But that's why I love this ring light. It's under 20 bucks. I put the link to the Amazon in the description. If you click on that, it is an affiliate link, which means Flight Attendant Career Connection gets a little percentage of your purchase, which we're super grateful for because that allows more things to be free because there's no extra cost to you. But my partnership with Amazon gives me a little bit of a commission when I refer things. So I'd love for you to click on the link and shop around. But it's less than 20 bucks. And let me go ahead and turn it. So it's got 3 settings. That's more. And then that's like, oh, that's a little intense, y'all. And then that's off. So I had it on the lowest setting. And one of the things I was getting to why a ring light is important, ring lights are important. Ring lights are important. Ring lights are important because the light comes from all 360. Instead of having a light that's just shining from one direction, and I actually have a window over here. That's why I'm a little bit more lit over here. But this ring light helps to really even that out and helps to get rid of some of the shadows that I would have. So when you're doing your video interview, your lighting is important. Now, you don't have to invest in like a $200 diva light unless you want like that lighting setup just because you like a good selfie. But for this, less than 20 bucks, you won't have to worry about like which room, where's the best lighting. This also helps you to focus on your background because your lighting source can go with you. You know what I mean? So that you can sort of like, this was the best light, but it's a weird room or something like that. So this ring light allows you to take your lighting with you wherever. Also, it makes it easier to do the video interview in the evening or at night or early in the morning before the sun comes up, if that's the best time for you to do your video interview. So ring light is amazing. And it's also, you could take it with you. You could take pictures of yourself. You can use it to take pictures of other things when you're traveling, stuff like that. It just gives you a nice, consistent light source because the light's not coming from one direction or the other. So that is something I totally recommend. I don't know if we got lost or not, to up your video interview game without breaking the bank. Yeah. All right. So that is my tools for takeoff. Viewer question. Let me see if I have it up here. I'm going to see if I can read it because I forgot to write it down. Let's see if I can write it. Okay, tools. Here we go. Community question. So what is the best way to care for your skin when wearing a mask all the time? This question was actually, so earlier this week on Monday, if you missed it, Dr. Laura, our skincare expert, taught a free skincare webinar for Flight Attendant Career Connection in the Facebook group. You can either find it in the Facebook group or I also put it on YouTube so that it's easy to find however you want to find it. But Dr. Laura is a pharmacist and a skincare expert, and she taught an hour-long free webinar for us all about the needs of flight attendants and frequent travelers as far as skincare goes. So this question was one of the questions that was asked in the group about the webinar, but I thought that it was very timely, so I wanted to also reshare it here in this video. So wearing masks on the plane as a flight attendant is becoming more normal. Also as a traveler, also as someone who goes to Costco, it's becoming more normal, more often that we're wearing the mask. And so it's causing issues. Of course, we've seen in the medical professionals that who are really, really wearing masks really, really all the time, it starts to cause like sort of a breakdown here. But even if you're just wearing it while you're working or while you're traveling, you're breathing into it. So it's creating kind of a moist environment, which can just cause you to break out. It sort of causes a little bit friction here, which can cause some redness and things like that. So here's what she said. First of all, here's our answer to how do I take care of my skin while I'm wearing a mask all the time. Number one, keep your mask clean. So wash it if you can wash it. Also, she said, put it in the sunlight can also help to sanitize it, kill some of those germs, and keep it clean for you. So that was one. Another thing is to use gentle cleansers, not anything that exfoliates. So skip your exfoliation during this super mask wearing time. And she recommended Cetaphil cleanser, which I put a link in the description for that. If you're not familiar, you can get it at Amazon, or actually you can get it at Costco and Sam's in like a super great deal, like a bundle thing. So she said that is just the most kind, gentlest way to cleanse your skin, no exfoliation, and will not add any more irritants. And then also use products. Gosh, that was the word I was looking for. Products that are very soothing to your skin and very nutritive and very supportive. So she has a line of skin. She's a consultant with a company called Roden and Fields, which offers a whole lot of different skincare options for different skincare problems. And I know they have a line called Soothe that's really good for this problem too. So in the description, I put a little link to her website because she's offering a discount to Flight Attendant Career Connection. So I wanted to make sure that y'all had the correct link to get the best deal on her products as well. If you haven't watched that webinar, please go back and watch it if you're interested at all in skincare, or even just what skincare problems you might face in the future as a flight attendant. It's free. It's fun. I thought it was fun. Dr. Laura and I had kind of a good time together. And so I just thought that those three simple rules or three simple tips for wearing your mask were very easy to do, like doable, as well as very succinct. I just was like, yes, give me 3 steps. Let me do my 3 steps. So that's what we got for you today. Let me check my comments again. I feel like it's a little bit of a shorter show, maybe because we weren't talking about heartbreak and social reform and all of the other heart-heavy things that need a little bit more fleshing out. So I'm encouraged, final words, I'm encouraged at the direction of aviation. I think that there will be opportunities sooner rather than later, which I've kind of been saying the whole time, y'all. I do think that there's going to be opportunities sooner rather than later. Frontier Airlines started hosting phone interviews this week. Now, those were for people who had applied pre-COVID-19 as well as completed their video interview. So they were already in the pipeline. But anytime these airlines start to move people through, it's going to open new opportunities for applications on the other side. So Frontier was another airline that was definitely posed to grow tremendously before we sort of had the slowdown. So it's looking like they may be able to still grow. I don't know, maybe as fast, maybe as big, maybe not, but growth is growth at this point. We're super happy for any time there's applications, interviews, or any kind of opportunity. So thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. If you are watching this today, we do have study hall this afternoon at 8 p.m. Eastern. We also have study hall on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm trying to do the math. It's 9 here at 3 p.m. Eastern. So you can find the information in the as to all of that in the description. But I hope to see you in study hall if you're interested. And if not, I will see you next week. I hope you have a great day. Have a great morning. Talk to you later.